Hello, live. Hello. Claire? I think they can hear me, yeah. Hello, is anyone now? Could you please say hello? This is all trial and error as always with me. I'm fine, Colin. Lovely to see you. Hello, Claire. Lovely to see you. I hope you're all doing very well. So I've got 3 people in the room. All say hi. Please all subscribe and share. That'd be appreciated. So have any of you been watching the Stasi Party conference? I do hope you... Oh, well done. Thank you, Craig, mate. And yeah, we're all doing all right, mate. To be honest, I've been getting a little bit triggered by those speeches I've heard. I've never been so disgusted and insulted in my whole life. Evening, English Rose, my darling. I hope you're keeping well. And how's your hip? But yeah, honestly, I'm so insulted. It's actually foul and disgusted. I mean, I met English Rose there. So English Rose, you're a right-wing skinhead. You know that. I mean, how that woman's got the cheek. So, I mean, they've got to go, personally. That's my own opinion. And that won't change. I mean, Lammy, they're inciting violence. They're in misinformation. They're lying. And to be totally honest with you, they should all be in the jail, considering they're jail people like me and poor other political prisoners we've got. Thank you, Craig. Your geezer, nice one, mate. Yeah, I wish they were. I'll put a thing on X as well, so maybe some people on X will drop in. But then beware, we could get some idiots from X as well, because you get a lot of leftards. Oh, I could be arrested for that, I should imagine. So there's 5 people in the room. Woohoo, we're achieving something. But I hope you're all doing very well, especially you, Rose. Hope you're coming on a nice and healing correctly, especially after that long Saturday, at which I was multicultural, if anything, and I didn't see any or hear anything racist, just people that want their country back. Yeah, I know, Colin. But and they're giving us grief. And did you see them all waving their flags? I mean, they're so hypocritical. I honestly, I'm getting to the end of my tether with them, because I got brought up in a Labour-run borough called Haringey Council. Fact. Okay, 2 birth certificates. I was bullied, racially bullied, right? Okay, left out of things because of my colour. Right, the only time I got in things was because I was, you know what I mean, from a very poor background. Oh, bless. Yeah, mate. And in that Lammy, I mean, he's having his expenses are totaling over $2,000 a day. What the hell is he getting on his expenses? I mean, it's just a totally taking the pickle out of me. That Yvette Cooper, whatever her name is. I mean, what they all got to go. And then that thing that I've been put on X, that police officer snatching, well, two different occasions I've had it with taking the flags off our kids. You know what? This is getting to the point now. There's going to be no return for these fellas or these people, right? Because they are doing an aggressive. They've invaded the country. They've compromised our government, and it just it makes my blood boil, and no one's seeing it. Yeah, yeah, just check it out, Colin, mate. Yeah, his expenses are saying it's working out 2,220 odd sobs a day. I mean, I wish I had an expensive car. I mean, all our money, we're getting ripped off to the max, and that's why I personally want them all arrested. I've called for on the X. I've called for the military. They should intervene. I mean, our military are soft then if they can't do that. And I love the vets and I love the military, I really do. But if they're compromised as well, we need some big change, real big change. And I'm not inciting nothing, of course. We can't say that. You know what I mean? But we need change. You know, they're calling for our deaths. I mean, I've seen another video on X of a young girl in a London nightclub. She's out there with her mates having a few pina coladas, you know what I mean, and a jolly up and a dance, maybe pull at the end of the night. And then you've got these unwanted geezers coming in and doing all those sort of what Ricky Jones did, you know, and got away with on camera. You know, he can walk, you know, doing all that behind them girls. It's you know what? God forbid, but it happens to any of my kin, no police or anything would be required, and they can take whatever they like from that because that's how I stand. Yeah, English, but you know, I know they've shot themselves in the foot, and I can't agree if it was more like a reform. I mean, they've done more for the reform cause than I've ever seen in my life, and actually, I want advance, and I like advance, but they ain't got the foundations laid yet, and they're not done nothing, and I'm scared of splitting the vote. So when the vote does come, and I want to snap election now, okay, I'll be voting reform just to get that change, and then see how they walk the walk. And if not, we've got advance that can step in and take over because they have got to be finished. Anyone in their right mind that is voting for this, and I would say it, this shit, okay, and this persecution and ethnic cleansing of the English, the Welsh, and the Irish are disgusting. And I do not like a woman, Mahmood, that goes on those plasticine marches, okay, coming on and telling us that we're all this and that. Who the hell is she? She shouldn't even be in the country. You can't. I can't. I can't take them. Honestly, they've. I'm disgusted with them. The previous lot, and they'll go. They're about the toys. Toys are finished. End off. Yeah, Craig. So that's disgusting. You know what I mean? But at least you're brave, mate. You're standing here as a geezer on the front line because there's nothing more than that pees me off as well. Is idiots preaching from abroad while they're hiding behind the wall. You know what I mean? This needs frontliners. And so you know what? I've got to be careful with what I say, but believe me, guys, believe me, I want change like tomorrow morning. I want our military in there. I mean, it's got to a point. I invited the Americans to invade us. You know what I mean, and get it back for the people, and I'd help them. I would happily help them. We've got to have a good clean out. You know, they disgust me, to be honest. And as I said, we cannot split the vote, guys. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do a coalition, and they're going to try these Libs, these Greens, all of them, Tories, Labour, all of them are disgusting, vile, WEF organisations that have been compromised, full of wrong uns. We all know that. I know that from me at childhood. You got told to give them a swerve around Dolphin Square and all that. Don't do your research on it. The MPs from the old are joined up from the new imported wrong uns. And it's disgusting. And in a way, they're attacking our children. You know what I mean? Our women, and that's all right. And that poor lass that got attacked by multiple men in that churchyard, but they only allow one white man. Why don't they give the description of all of them? You know what I mean? And you know what? The police, they're failed, and they're failed in their duty, and, well, they're not needed, are they? They're not needed. And everyone that goes, oh, well, you call them in an emergency. Not no more. No. You know what I mean? I'll serve justice myself in a peaceful manner. Nice cup of tea and biscuits and a long walk. You know what I mean? Maybe a picnic and a pork pie. But I tell you, I can feel it. The whole nation is getting down, and that's what they're doing. They're wearing us down. Only 400 came over today. Yeah, only. That's all new votes. So we need digital ID. Okay. When I put in my notes, I put papers, their own government papers up on one of my last pieces, my last videos. Okay. It's getting suppressed severely because we are being censored. Okay. And they're hypocritical of the law. They don't respect the laws already in place. Right? You need your national insurance number. You need, you need to prove who you are. I mean, everyone who doesn't on here know your national insurance number, I know it off by heart. And then these guys that come in, and I put it also on that piece. They've got one of the brave dudes. He come out. At least he had the chutneys to do that. Okay, and he come out, and they've got no ID. They're allowed into the country. Okay, but we all got to have digital ID. It's the biggest trap that ever known. Don't comply. Do not comply. Start using your cash only. Get your cash out of the banks, because if you're a pensioner and you've got a few quid safe, you know what? Get it out, get a high current gold and hide it, because them lot are foul and they'll come for you. They target the weakest in our communities, and that's their MO. That's how they work with their Islamic friends. And I don't care what they think about me. I'm a British patriot and I'll stand by that. Wow, sorry about that, Craig, mate. I lost an uncle and a friend, but to be honest, when the family looked into my uncle's one, especially, God rest his soul, he I don't think it was caused by that. And to be honest, I've been watching a lot, and maybe I shouldn't because it drives me into a goddamn rage. But I predict this: in the next coming 12 months, there'll be another lockdown and there'll be another pandemic. Okay. Let's just see what happens. But this is the way they're rolling, and this is all part of the agenda for 2030. Okay, and we do not need big hitting YouTubers to start giving out party political broadcasts. We all know advance. We all want advance. I like advance, right? But they need to get established. Okay, we cannot afford to split the vote. We've all got to unite and get together on this one. If you're UKIP, advance, reform, okay, let's do it. Now, reform are the only ones that seem to be in the position and causing a lot of aggro. So for that alone, I mean, they'll be ready. The Scottish generals are coming up soon. If they're in my voting ballot, I'm voting for them. Yeah, I know. Craig's had it rough in the last 12, 18 months, the poor geezer, man, and he's getting it constant from our uninvited guests to get everything. I mean, the National Health Service, you can't even get your teeth done. Everyone takes a pickle out of the way our British teeth are. Yeah. The reason is, if you noticed, all the ethnic guys are getting their teeth. They go around and sort them out. They get everything. I had my cancer battle. Right. I've been waiting and waiting. I appreciate everything that was done by the people. I love them and I honor them. Right. But you know what? If there weren't so many translators in there and so many people that have not chipped in, maybe I would have got sorted out a little bit sooner. Maybe I won't be waiting like I am now and getting anxious about when's my next appointment, worrying about it. Am I going to be persecuted because I speak up? But you know what? I won't stop speaking. End off. And that's the way it goes. Oh, bless you, Rose. You're a champ. I mean, if it weren't for you, I think I would have fallen over that day. Oh, bless you. I mean, but who put that out there? I mean, there's strains, there's labs. I mean, look at the EU. They're so vile. They're such a corrupt organisation, guys. It's unreal. Don't be bought by this. And the freedom of you, everything's geared up, right, to educate the third world for them to take our jobs that are dwindling fast with this AI crap, right? And with everything else, okay, our kids are suffering. Our kids ain't getting the mental health treatment. Our kids ain't getting the teeth all looked after. They ain't getting no help. And all the anxiety in these youngsters now has been caused by this lockdown and all the shit that's been coming out with it. You know, and I blame the government for it. And it's all a plan. It's a plan to oppress us, depress us, and, you know, end us. And, you know, it can't be carrying on. It cannot be carrying on. You know, I'd rather, I'm sorry, but I'd rather go out fighting than on my knees. No way. And then you get all the time on every platform you go on, you've got them calling for the ending of us, and nothing's done. But the minute we put out a tweet, or like me, I could get 20 years for this, and I don't give a tinkers about it, to be honest with you. I won't say anything because I'll just go to a court of law, end off. Don't cop a guilty, right? And just keep changing courts if you're not happy with your trial judges and jury. You're sure right. You can sack the jury, but they're going to turn it, and you know what? We're going to be getting told off by third world courthouses. I mean, and they all train up. You know, they all train up in the law and specialise in the European Court of Human Rights. Well, forget Europe. Okay, I'm sick of it. Right, we've bailed out Europe enough times, and Europe is going to be the demise of us, and that's why they're doing this. And, well, that's me. I know I'm ranting up a bit, but I've never felt so infuriated in my life. The whole thing, and everything's just it's being done by design, guys. Done by design. And as I say, I've been watching bits and bobs of that conference, and I have to turn it off because everything I watch is just like, you know, and what they're doing as well, they're calling the form racist before what they say, and then next day churn out, or the next minute churn out the same bits and bobs. It's like nicking someone's content, rigging it up as your own, and then just whacking it out, and then it's okay for them. It's okay for them to be racist. It's got to be two-way streets on it. And you know what? It's about time we all start to stand up for ourselves. Well, that's exactly right. Everyone gets hacked. M&S, that's that little what's it called? That nursery and everything, and airports. And they want us to go digital ID. The reason they want us to go digital ID because that Ronald Blair, who has been caught cottaging in the past, guys, he's got a load to hide. Lindsay, right? Okay, his son owns the company that will be involved in that, worth billions of pounds. You know, it's all a scam. It's like every time they send us all off to war and go and bomb these countries, and then we take them all in, and they've got a hatred for us, for their politicians' decision. Our boys and girls do what they're told to do. But you'll find, like Theresa May, when they've done Syria, it was her husband, and his new missiles that our country was buying from his company. It's all a sham. Look at Keir. He's just he needs to be trialled by the British public and dealt with accordingly. All of them need to. I feel Nuremberg Trials 2.0 coming on. And then they're driving us into the warmongering with Russia. And I don't care what anyone says about Russia. Why do we want a war with Russia? You know what I mean? We can't even deal with our own invasion. We're going to send all the people there. It's just disgusting. Sacrifice our own lives. No, our young ones' lives. I saw a young boy yesterday on his way to the TA centre in his little army uniform, looking well chuffed with himself. And I thought, well done, son. And then I said to the other half, I said, that poor boy, more than likely, is going to be sent off to Russia soon and get taken out by a drone. You know what I mean? And what are they going to do? Forget about them. Like they forget about everyone. A vet, you go out and you put your life on the line, and the enemy come here, step over you in the street while you're shivering and cold and wet in a doorway, and they go into their fluffy little hotel with their phones and getting paid, and they're all giving it big and large, and it's disgusting. How much more can they rub our faces in the dirt? You know. I have joined the Free Speech Union, Craig, and to be honest, you know what I mean. I am not scared of this establishment. It's a tyranny, and it's going to take maybe bad men to do good things because all these other people giving it large from hundreds of miles away in other lands is, to me, is cowardice. You know, calling out, putting on jackets and pretending they're doing a party political broadcast. All they're doing is splitting the bloody vote. Yeah, exactly, Rose. I mean, yeah, I mean, what are they going to do next? And don't get surprised if they false flag us with another atrocity, okay? Because the only protection after the Southport incident was given to mosques. You know, all you get on the mainstream media is about how they're getting oppressed and they're scared of the flag. You know what? If it's scaring them that much, piddle off. We don't want you. And all these government buildings that are raising that flag and taking ours down, shame on them. And, well, they should be treated as traitors. They're all at it, Craig. Every single one of them are at it. I mean, I'm not really a fanboy of reform, and I mean that right now. I've said that from the beginning. I know exactly what Farage is all about, but you know what? I'm not here to split the vote. Right? Advance ain't ready. Okay. And as I said to the Scottish people, but some of them, the majority of them, are just so consumed with this sectarian crap and freedom. They don't realise they're not going to get freedom the way they're going. Yeah, everything is great. Everything is, mate. There was a meeting just before the collapse of the Germans in the Second World War, and they occupied Europe. Yeah, remember they occupied Europe, okay, and they made up a thing, and it was the beginning of the EU. Okay, they're all still at it. Like the rest went over to America to make missiles and bombs and rockets. You know, and God knows how we've just been infiltrated by Pakistani citizens. As simple as that. She is not. She should. Well, anyone can call themselves British. So even thinking of a name change now, because I don't want to be classed as British. I might put Lee, English, Welsh, Irish, Scottish Patriot, because I'm all part of them because I've done my ancestry. You know what I mean? I dare them to do their ancestry. And we're fine. She's got no 1 ounce of British blood in her, or from any of this Isles. And she's here laying the law down. Let's all go to Pakistan. Let's open up a Christian church. And maybe let's all jump in and so get people to do. Let's see if we can set up a party called Advance out there. See how that goes. You know what I mean? But all thanks for joining in and enjoying the rant. Please ask a question. And I'm sorry the rant, man. And all put a thumbs up and share if you could. That'd be brilliant. But yeah, I am annoyed. I am annoyed. I am so annoyed. It's been getting at me. So you see, it's what's annoying about it is you're just seeing history repeat itself, and you're just seeing soft wet wipes just keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. And I'm not inciting nothing, of course, you know. But you know, sometimes we've got to do. I want a snap election, and how it's not called, I don't know. He's broke everything in his manifesto, everything. Everything, the farmers, the winter fuel allowance, our children, you know, everything that he's supposed to do and do dearly to serve the people of this country. And he's a failure. I mean, it's not the Labour Party of old, you know, that did represent the working class. It's the extermination party of the working class. And Cornish English. Okay. And the Cornish. And the Cornish. I didn't find that in my ancestry, but there again, that might be in the bit that was the English bit, because the rest of me made up that. So, be honest, I'm a right Heinz 57 on these Isles. I mean, but that side got around. No, I love Cornwall. I love Cornwall. Love it. As I said to you, Rose, I love that. I have fun memories of Cornwall. Fun. Great little school holidays and little holidays I had. They were great. Nice place. But it's all going to go there. It's all going to go down the pan soon. You know what I mean? And you've still got people in denial, people that are saying this and that. And you know what? Sometimes you're there wishing, you know what? I hope you experience it. You know, you got someone. I had a speech of that useless from up here, actually denying that the grape gangs were Pakistani race. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know white people did partake in that, and they shall be brought to justice. But hence why it's being trying to get it under the carpet, because they know it's high people in high places. But for him to say that was the biggest insult of my life. I mean, this is how delusional they are, and we cannot allow them to without firing a shot, to take over. And then they all go out, and our police are just so weak and pathetic. And they are. And any police officers that ever see this, you are weak and you are pathetic. And you need retrained ASAP. But yeah, so but lovely. There's 7 in the room, 3 thumbs up, woohoo, hitting the big time. Yeah, well, we're swerving a bullet at the moment, but they're creeping in, they're opening up their businesses. But then they're opening up that with the government's help that I know from the past in Haringey. You know, any British business was destroyed, but anyone that came over, they get grants, they get all this, and then it'd be like lent to them or grants and loans so they can open up a business, and then they go have to pay it back after a year or whatever. But by that time it happened, they'll sign it over to one of their cousins that have come over, okay, and then it all starts again, and it never gets paid back, and that's how they do it. I mean, these barber shops I've noticed as well. They're saying bring in skilled labour. So what they're going to do is say that everyone's a barber. Now, I go in multiple hairdressers at barbers, and I've had to pull up one or two of them because they are and refuse them because they wouldn't. They've not been to college. They've not done any of that. And as I say, they're not training our young uns, and they've just programmed them to be benefit. You know, rely on benefits and not get off their asses and start working because there's nothing to inspire them to do it. I'd rather reform in there all day long, and then see what they can do. But for the Scottish, I said to the Scottish people, you keep going on to these stupid parties. You got the deputy head of the Greens screaming out Allah Akbar. I mean, that's enough to say that for them. You got the Lib Dems, they're pathetic. Okay, and you got Labour. Well, we all know what they're about, and the Tories. Well, to me, are yesterday's news. They're disgusting, and they got to go. But Reform, if they got it hold of Scotland before the main election, maybe they could do a bit of the walk and see what they're really about, or if they show their true colours. But Advance need to get a foothold, right? They need an election or two to start getting politicians in. But at the moment, it's all talk and hot air. You all everyone could join, but what happened? I've done the pledge. What happened? Nothing. And it's the same old people peddling the same old BS. And I'm sorry, I think the time has come where we need proper people, proper men and women that are willing to stand up and be spoken and counted. Well, Rose, as I say, quite handy with the pitchforks. I've heard, yeah, picking up hay and that. Quite obviously, they're really good, but that's all we're down to is pitchforks. And half of these, I mean, I thought the Scottish were really tough. I really did, but they're only tough when they're anti-English. Okay, Anglophobes they're just not getting it. And then it's going to be too late. They keep voting in these crappy parties, and you just see the swallow the estates. Just have a look at Cumbernauld, for instance, and they love it, and they're living in total shit. And all the new housing, well, I've noticed in little market towns and that the ethnicity is changing rather lively, and they're still whispering because of cowering, still blaming the Tories, still blaming Westminster, when they don't realise everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet. The majority of proper people that care about our children, our women, our country, our traditions. But it's don't say that. You're like, get strong. You know what I mean? Stop being weak. Ah, see, take him in, hey, Colin. Wales has gone to the pit, and that's where they cleaned. A lot of Londoners went there after they got kicked out of London. You've seen the state of London. You know, it's it's disgusting. It's totally disgusting. Yeah, to be honest, Bose, I'm not being funny, but it seems like the Scottish women and children have got a lot more crystals than their men, apart from a few. But a lot of them, they're flying them Palestinian flags. They're still, supporting this Scottish Nazi party and all of that shenanigans. And you know what? You're thinking you're never going to go anywhere with it where you're going. Yeah, Wales is going to the dogs. It really is. But if you go on and watch mainstream media, they'll tell you it's such a lovely place and how they're so glad to be Welsh and proud. I mean, at Durham going for the deputy, the mayor of Manchester. Have you seen the state of Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester? Yeah, he's improved the transport links, and that's about it. And how much of that ended up in his back pocket in an offshore account? Because, as I say, I believe that they should all be asset stripped as well. Everything, everything. Even if they've signed it over to their children, make it none and void and take it all off them. Make their kids, their families, be working class and have to work amongst them and see how that goes. But they never take up the challenge. Never take up the challenge. Used to go to a place in Wales called Pendavan. Used to love it there. Really did. I mean, they were fun old days at Pendavan. Innocent. So we've got 6. We've lost 1. Woohoo! But hey ho. I think, as I said, I think the account's suppressed, guys. You know what I mean? No matter what I've done, and I got told by a quite prominent YouTuber that's been looking into it, and I think it's more way I speak the truth. To be honest, I dig it out and I just say it out there, so they don't want me there, like saying things. I mean, even X, I love X, and X is like the Wild West, but I'm sure that's censored. I am positive that's censored. I mean, you play within the rules, you don't say anything, but they lob in complaints, and you can wake up one morning and you've just been attacked by loads of lefties, and they're just stupid. They're pathetic, liberal, they're yellow bellies. Yes, it was, Craig. That infuriated me. That copper should be hauled over the coals for that, and and discharged dishonourably and flung to the wolves. Yeah, Colin, and working class, my ass. Maybe when they started and they used to turn up in working class dress, and you had the Labour clubs, and they were, but then they changed and they started to change, and they're just another uni party. They're just the same. That's what worries me about reform. But as we go at the moment, and after seeing this, I want nothing more. If Advance ain't ready, let them do it organically, get there, build the foundations and build from there. We can all change our votes. But at the moment, we cannot afford it. We cannot afford it with UKIP either. UKIP should come in with a coalition with reform or do something, because splitting the vote is the most dangerous thing we do. And if we split the vote on whenever, if we get the next general election, even if we get there in 4 years' time, okay, we're doomed. We're totally doomed. And that's more or less giving them blase to do whatever they desire. And look at countries that have, done that, and destroyed the white working class. Yeah, that Andy Burnham, he is a complete wally. You know what I mean? And he's another, another wolf dressed in sheep's clothing. Believe me, they're just all tricking us. Yeah. India. I always wanted to go there, but I'd only go India. But the Indian guys, they're okay. They're quite staunch, to be honest with you. A lot of Sikhs as well, and but I don't know. They have a lot of trouble with them, but they don't tolerate them. I mean, I saw if they start praying in the streets in India, they get a right kick up the arse while they're bending over to their cult, whatever, and that's them. But yeah, no, but India, I do like India. I do like the Indian people, but we all need to unite and get rid of them. I mean, I've just seen this on X, and they're just going berserk against Labour. How they can still stay in power and still lie to our faces and keep a straight face. I mean, he's a different wreck. I mean, yeah, he's avoided this, but what's happened to the Vent Boy saga? What happened to all that Charlie on the table with him, Macron, and the German Chancellor? You know, there's no investigation into him. How was his addresses known to these rent boys? And his car registration number. That is a massive scandal when your prime minister's address is out there, but that's under the carpet. The grooming gang scandal, that's not going to be dealt with, and then you've got people that are too interested trying to promote a party and split the votes. And it's stupid. It's really, really stupid. We've all just got to unite and get the win. If we can get the win, you know what? Get the country back on its feet, and I'm all up for it. Wales being Wales, Scotland being Scotland, England being England, and Ireland being Ireland. Okay, it's as simple as that. And I'm okay to say that because I'm 50% of the Republic, right? And the rest of me is 16% Scottish, 3% Welsh, and the rest of me is made up of England. So there you are. I could get a passport for all. But this British Panali, they're just giving out passports and registering undocumented males to vote, importing the vote like they do in Ham and Gay Labour. That's exactly what they do. They give them free sky as well, by the way. That's what they were doing in the 90s. There's so much. What can't you see happening, Colin? I like a booby as well, but I do like a curry. I'm a bit partial. Actually, before the 13th, when I went on that mad right-wing skinhead march, as they described it, declaring war on all of us patriots, that's what they did. They drew the line and they actually encouraged violence towards us. I went to a beautiful Tandoori, and the geezer heard me and my mate chatting away, and actually it was I needed it because he was from Mar Manor, and he was disgusted with what's happening. That's why he's in Norfolk. No, Chloe, only way I see it changing is the hard way, mate, to be honest with you. With all this voting shenanigans, I've personally, and I really do hope I get proven wrong, but with reform will get in. But then I think they'll be proven, everyone will be like, oh no. But let's see. Because Farage has got a habit of walking away once he gets a result. They're as bad as each other, Craig. The pair of them. Khan is a little snake who represented terrorists in the past. Okay, fat. Okay, he is all for Islamic takeover. He wants to turn this country into caliphate, mate, and be celebrated by his friends. You know what I mean? And that's exactly why he's there. That all of them are there because of that, because of this stupid wokeism that has took a grip of this nation. Okay, and we have been compromised, infiltrated. They're everywhere. The civil service, that Blair as well. I mean, he's in charge of. He wants to be in charge of Gaza. You know what I recommend? They need to build that place up once the hostages are free, right? And Hamas are destroyed. They have to be destroyed. Okay, but we take them in. Okay, but what we should do is send all those young undocumented males straight over to Gaza. Okay, and they can help rebuild that country. And I watch them dingy stop their welfare, because I didn't consent to give my money to them. The welfare is for the British people. End off. And also have a look into the restaurants. All these Indian restaurants. Oh, we only need this. And they import their families, and they're all on the dole. They can't speak a word of English. Get them out. And no, it ain't racist. It's patriotic and sensible. I don't know who's worse. To be honest, it's like a pitiful. And then you just got people that just won't listen, and they think the more they ignore it, the sooner it go away. Ignoring it only makes it get worse. Now's the time where we all have to stand and be counted. And I am in the speech union, free speech union. And to be honest, I dare the old bill to come for me. I dare them. You know what I mean? Because they better make it stick good, big time. Because this geezer ain't for turning, mate. I'm entitled to my views. I've got no extremist views. All I want is my homeland to be my homeland, my birthright. That's exactly right. And if they tell me any different, they go and stick it where the sun don't shine, and I ask for a retrial. Oh, I don't care. You know what I mean? And if we all stand up and be counted like that, how are they going to deal with us? And everyone's going to put them in these prisons that are empty. I've got a suspicion them prisons are empty for a reason. People that don't comply, and they just pile us in there, And then you've got that train company today as well, saying that we track your phone. You get this app and you could do your journeys, and all these people are championing it, saying, yeah, it's going to make life so much easier. No, it isn't. It's going to make it impossible. We'll be down to 15-minute cities and social scoring and everything. It's freezing our money, and people ain't looking at that. They just think we could vote out in 2029, when I honestly don't believe there'll be an election in 2029. As I say, keep, whacking a comment, guys. It helps the algorithm. You know what I mean? And a thumbs up if you can. And we've got 9 people in. Woohoo. But yeah, so any news, any gossip from you guys? I'm just looking on X. And Keir Starmer's gone, we will renew this country until we can say this with conviction that Britain is built for all. Yeah, the whole of the world. And we'll be paying for it, guys, until your dying day. And then your kids will drop in your place and be on that treadmill of slavery, paying for them. That's what it is. Shabana Mahmood, my faith is the core of my life. I'm a practicing Muslim. I'm a Brahmi. I'm English and I'm British. No, you're not. That is a total lie. She's total full of shit. Exactly, Colin. Exactly. If they stopped the welfare and said that ain't happening, you can't bring your families and all that, votes would stop just like that. Just like that. But no, I feel like we've got to give them money. Why? Why? And if it's spending our money, shouldn't it be put to a referendum where they cannot vote and we vote on that decision? You're in Europe tonight, Colin. You lost at the weekend, didn't you? I mean, Jesus, we left it late. Yeah, thankfully. So we're pulling back a little bit, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? You're 6 games in and you're worried already about falling behind. But we can't let them get ahead of us too far. It'd be like an 89 moment all over again, Colin, with everything that's going on. I don't feel I could handle the stress. But I'll tell you what, Arteta better start. He's got to start improving, because I'm still thinking he's not doing the right formations. And he keeps sticking with these, and sometimes, You know, maybe bringing someone else if he's got to win something this season. Second ain't good enough, and the semi-final ain't good enough. We've got to lift something. Been too long now. But yeah, that's my view of things. As I say, I've been looking on X, and it's just full of Labour propaganda. I mean, and people do you support? Yeah, so you got Dan Wootton on saying slippery Starmer's going down by dividing the country. Yeah, and it was an evil speech. And I mean, if anyone else did a speech like that, they'd be jailed. But it's allowed. That policeman taking that flags of them children. If you go on my ex account, I've got a couple of videos, and you know it's disgusting. And you still got idiots saying, "Oh, well, it's not allowed." It is allowed. You know, it is allowed. Yeah, I watched that. I went on that live, Craig. I spoke to you, didn't I, on it in the chat? But it kept buffeting, and that's what they're doing. They're just putting out blockers all the time. They done it us on the 13th, and that and the rain destroyed everything for me. But yeah, the farmers, the patriots, everyone's just got to unite for this one. All of us. I've got to unite and get the win and then get this place cleaned up and like flush this toilet because it needs a good flush out. And I'm talking about see all these people as well that's been brought up here that can't have got no depth to their argument. You know, with them placards, I'll be rounding them up and to stripping them of their citizenship. Forget their human rights because it'd be the British human rights, okay? And they're not British, right? And I would deport them to a Muslim country and let them go and live out their life there. And good luck. Good luck. You know, one bit of good news I did see and I've heard about, and it's been swept under the carpet and it's not really on mainstream. But the gay community have actually stood up now to be counted in Europe, and the LBG community don't want anything to do with that trans ideology. You know, because you know the most offences are caused by trans, and they're geezers that are just totally weirdos, and they're middle-aged white men usually walking around dressed as Barbie. They're just getting their rocks off, being creeps, and saying, "Oh, you know," and using that. You know, that's how mad this country has got. I mean, I was reading a transcript earlier from a court case concerning the grooming gangs. I mean, one's absconded, the others, and they've still got no remorse, and they're getting references from their families. You know, that lot, they should be in jail, serve hard time. And I mean, not cooking facilities, hard time, slopping out, breaking rocks, okay? And then, minute their sentence is done, the full sentence, okay? And they've behaved, deport, and never to return. You know, what about the kids that are, you know, some of them girls are going through so much trauma, it's unreal. And they're letting them back in the community to harass them. It's disgusting. I mean, but sorry, the farmers and everyone, Craig, they've got to do a little bit more. You know, protesting and you know, doing this and doing that. I don't know, but I didn't see that on the live feed. I went back and I couldn't, and it was just buff it in and buff it in, and then I went on to other lives, and it was all the same. So quite obviously, the police are down there doing their finest. You know, having a go at patriots, policing us while everyone else is threatening us with our lives, and they just get away with it. But yeah, so what I will be doing, I'll be doing lives a little bit more, and I'm going to try to build it up a bit here, guys, because I am a videos, of course, but I mean, please, I beg of all of you, please start viewing those videos and getting them registered because I think I'm in YouTube jail. Hey ho. But there again, I'm not worried about losing eight grand a month because of my sponsors taking super chats and all of this. I do it because I've got a love and passion for my country, but that's frowned upon. So what did exactly did the farmers do at the Labour conference, Craig? Because I mean, you'll never see it on the mainstream. All they're doing is portraying is the streamers and the YouTubers and the stuff. If they go live, it's I mean, it's you can't make nothing out. But what did they actually do? Did they go down there and spray those pro-Palestinians and the police with a load of horse manure like the French do? Don't worry, Colin. You put it right. You just think of Istanbul. How many minutes you got left? A big kick-off at about 8, wouldn't you? Oh, you've got time. You've got time. Half time, is it, Carl? Yeah, you'll put it back, mate. Who are you up against? We got Olympia. I can't even say it. That Greek team, I think. Is it all the Turkish one? But we've got one tomorrow at 8. I fell for that trap. I thought we was on early on Saturday morning. So, oh, Man City. So that'd be one to watch. But it was a women's soccer league. They keep catching me out on that. I know. Okay. To be honest, mate, they're disgusting. You should have filmed that and sent it to me. I would have shared it everywhere. I mean, that's disgusting. What are they going to do? Dig him up and charge him? I mean, that just says the depth of the old bill, and that just says all they're worth, mate. They're not worth it. Don't even let them in your house. Do not comply anymore. Do not comply. Because I'm not complying. It's as simple as that. And I know I'll mostly get a strike again on YouTube. They won't monetize me, guys, because I speak the truth. You know what I mean? But that's what they're doing now. They're suppressing my account because I speak the truth, and I'll pass caring with it anymore, to be honest with you. I'm going to keep going and keep going until they fling me off, fling me in jail. And then, as I say, fling me in jail. On what charge? I don't know. See, I mean, I'm glad I left that Facebook platform because that's policed severely. You've got to be extremely careful with what you say on there. But as I say, guys, what you've got to remember, we cannot split the boat. And I'm talking to all the Scottish guys, Welsh guys and girls, everyone. Right? Let's just all unite on this. Put things aside, and I can't wait till we can get back to the time we could have a bit of banter between ourselves. And I truly believe that maybe we all could start being individual nations, because I'll take that any day of the week than being Islamic. And I've been out in Scotland for over 20 plus years. So I'm sure with my Scottish wife, Scottish children, and paying taxes, I'm certain that I would be eligible for a passport. And if anything, get me a job at the border control, and I won't let anyone up. Anyone else? Any questions? Any goss? But yeah. As I say, everyone, all keep safe and switched on. And yeah, I'll do another live. I don't know. I don't want to. Well, it's not like I'll make a difference with my audience. Whereas Sharon, she'll mostly, more than likely, no, Sharon, she'll mostly be on another live, maybe watching PT or FD. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sharon's usually about. I hope she's in good health. For crying out- Oh, please, I hope she is. Bless her, I like Sharon. She's lovely. And I wish she'd do more YouTube content. She's just her confidence being knocked. Now, saying you, Rose, you've got to start doing some as well now. You've got to get the grips. When I was saying, return the phone. It's let's get off this X. If you go down, you can press like a button here. It's like the rotate, and then you whack it on your selfie stick and film like that. Okay, so then people it comes out, but I don't know how it comes out on the laptop, but that's the way to do it, sweet, and make sure everything's up. And then on TikTok, you can get a mic, but you don't really need a mic, but you can get the ones where you plug in and you can put one on your lapel with jacket and talk. That's all you need to get started. I've just got a message from the certain YouTuber, Sean, and he's a lovely guy, and his channel's growing brilliantly. And by God, he goes up against the system, but I love him. I love him. He's courageous. Yeah, I know, Colin. I know a lot of you are. I know a lot of you are staunch, and God forbid, but when the time does come, you know what to do. As I've said in previous one, you Jedburgh, head to the Abbey and make contact. And you should be meeting and greeted, so we'll all be safe and we save the kids there, and then do what's necessary. We'll protest peacefully and serve tea and biscuits to everyone. Yeah, the digital ID, they're crapping on it. I live in a farming community, and I source a lot. I try and source a lot of stuff, and I source eggs, things like that. And I am staunchly buy British all the time. But now they're even lying about that, and the farmers get totally shut on it. And when you go to bed and then you wake up early doors and you're seeing the guys grafting, you think, wow, and they work very, very hard with little reward. And sometimes when the weather's bad and you see a field where they've put crops in and it's fouled, your heart breaks for them. And this country, they just penalise the farmers unless you've got donkeys on it for your dear mum. You know what I mean? Because he is and this digital ID, like people like me, I won't be able to leave the house. I won't be able to spend nothing, but I don't care because I will not comply. And that's my right, and that is my given right, and I'm taking that right. But the digital ID, I mean, who thought of that? Blair. I mean, we do not need digital ID, guys. We really don't. We've got our passports, we've got our national insurance numbers, our birth certificates. When we die, we have a death certificate. And then have they, excuse me, have they ever thought about the phone theft? So you got all of your information in there. And God forbid, but you're walking down the street and one of those unregistered mail takes your phone, as they will be and do. Okay, get away with it because they feel crime is like a easy pickings here, right? And they use your ID, and you'll get penalised. Your bank will get stop money from you. All your money will be stopped. Whatever you've got, your savings will take off you. And like in China, if they see you doing like jaywalking or jumping a red light, or like you would, but jumping a red light, you deserve to be nicked, to be honest. But or anything stupid, they don't give you a right to appeal. They don't give you a right to a trial. They don't give you any of that. They just automatically deduct the money out of your account, okay, and that's your fine paid. And that's how they work. In Vietnam, I think they've stopped like 18 million people's bank accounts. So could you imagine this country with all your savings and everything that you've tucked away, you've worked hard for, you've paid tax on about 400 times, okay, and the country's running out of money to pay these hotels, and give all their new voters nice new fluffy clothes and mobile phones. Where do you think they're going to get the money? They're going to dip into your savings. And if you don't like it, you will be punished. End off, and branded a racist right-wing skinhead. Never heard of anything ridiculous. And I was in school. I never forget being in school. And it was all that DEI with the black guys, black boys and that. and they used to take the pickle out of the teachers by using it. They were using it every time. Race card, race card, race card. And they used to giggle while still calling us white boys grey men. You know what I mean? While still trying to bully us and still take our money off us. And every time we fought back, we got punished. That's how it was. Yeah, I don't know, but I think I do honestly believe this is suppressed. But I will. 'Cause I'm going to listen to Sean, what he's got to say. So he's got wise words. But yeah, I mean, should all give him a follow actually if you could, because he's a nice guy. You got Paz 49, he's top drawer. I like Paz. You got Fast Jet performer. He loses his rag at times. He makes me look like a nun. And then you've got Life in the UK Today. Now he's a good channel, a very good channel, and he works. He does it brilliantly. He's a good man. Actually, I like him a lot, and he's growing. He's growing so brilliantly. It's brilliant. But before he got monetized, he had to delete like 300 films. That's why I deleted a load, because a lot of it was too controversial, too truthful. GB News. I mean, I don't know much about them at the moment. To be honest, I try to go for a bit of an impartial news. I mean, I still think they're compromised, and I don't like the way they promote Farage on it in a sense as it's like his platform, isn't it? I mean, how much has he got invested in that? I mean, could there be a conflict of interest, and that hence would prove the move, make him to have to stand down, and we'll end up with some form of Muslim MP. I mean, that's what worries me. That's what worries me. If a Reform get out there and do the walk and do everything they say they're going to do, and not start turning soft, okay, and just say no, this has got to be done, just like how Trump's doing it. You know what I mean? If people ain't doing it, arrest them. Go into the military, all these people, arrest them and to get them out, deport them. I mean, well, I'm sure there'd be a volunteer force of able-bodied men that will do it. That's why I want Ant Middleton to be mayor of London. But he won't, because Londoners will not get up and vote. Because one, majority of them are not there anymore, and two, ones that are there are state dependent and they're scared. And the reason they're state dependent is because they've been enticed and tricked over generations, and that's why they are. Welcome back, my darling. Hey, if you're funeral, I'll dig an hole for you, throw you in there, Craig, because I might be joining you, mate. If it come to that, you know what I mean? But don't worry, we just can't be coward, guys. Don't be scared. I mean, you've got all these lunatics going out, and I'm not going to start throwing up videos like all the other fancy mob. They get super chats, they get buy me a coffee, they get that. So let them do that. I'm just bare boned how it is. But they can flex and do what they like, and then we plow more hundreds of millions after our children, our children get destroyed and unalived, okay? And they go and protect that lot, you know? Yeah, that lot, that racist, bigoted lot that are here just to, you know, they're just here to take over, and it's as simple as that. But what I would like it now. You know, they're making places take it. We should start insisting that they get moved to the rich areas, you know, the fluent areas. You know, all these people that are there. You know, because I've got loads on companies that take these slave labor of these guys, and digital ID is not the way. So do not comply with it. Yeah, totally time for a home guard. If you go back on if I haven't deleted one of them videos, I've been calling that, and also school patrols. I've been calling that for donkeys for a good year, and a proper home guard. But the only problem with the home guard is we've got to get this lot out first, and then get the home guard, properly trained men of a bit staunch, maybe ex-military, a way of easing them back onto Civvy Street, and give them a bit of purpose, with a bit of accommodation. Okay, get them trained, and then get them properly suited and booted for the job, and start going through these areas. And I like Ant as well. I really want Ant Middleton to. I'd love him to get London Mayor, because I honestly believe we have restraints quite obviously with the civil service, because that's infiltrated, generational. Okay, but he'd be the man to start the cleanup, I think, and lead by example. I don't think he'll be on a back foot, Ant Middleton. I really don't. He's a squaddy man, and he, I think he was ex-Marine, wasn't he? And and being SBS or whatever it was, the Special Forces, he's I think he's staunch, and I think he's up for it. Yeah. So was that some idiot on Craig that you stopped their message? What's that, Colin, mate? He will not. Who's that, buddy? And I don't think he will, because I honestly believe that there'll be postal votes coming in by the millions from Pakistani second class, of course, paid by us. They've got to stop that postal vote stuff. People that live here, okay, pay the taxes, not these expats and all that. Forget them all. It's all open to abuse, okay? And foreign nationals on any form of fees have got no right to vote in our elections, okay? As they have got no right to stand in our parliaments. Brand me racist, I don't care. Yeah, we exactly know why. And before anyone does say this is a racist or whatever, it ain't a racist rant, because the Windrush, right? The black dudes that here got just cracking on with life and grafting, got no problem with them whatsoever. Because I grew up some really decent friends. My best mates, right? My kids call them uncles, right? And I can't mention their names, but they're black, right? We love our football, right? If I go down to London town, I stay with them. They put me up, okay? And I was one of the very few. Me and my cuz were one of the very few people to go in certain parts of Stoke Newington and Dalston and all that in the day, right? And the Rastafarians took us under the wing, and that was one beautiful experience, right? I got into ragga, right? If they found you ever did anything that was a pill, they would just slap you. That was a no-no. But then Sensimilia was just a passage of life. They were lovely. And yeah, and I ain't got a problem with them. Well, Windrush was, I think the whole thing, all the wars and that was all a little bit controversial. And they brought them in for the manpower, because our manpower, God bless their souls, it all been sacrificed, been slaughtered. But our liberties, our freedoms, which are now taken away. You go to the smallest little village where I travel around sometimes, and you see monuments with loads of young men. What a waste. How big could our population have been? How big? Yeah, well, the Westminster, that's a load of wrong uns in their rows, mate. That's all the money people. There's a lot of properties that bought up there by Islamic countries, and Highgate and all them, and they a lot of famous people as well bounce around there, and they were just all they don't see it. They can get on a jet, and go away after they do a little preach up. More, yeah. Could you imagine if someone did that? See the boys on the video somewhere on the line. They put the flag over, but I'm sure they would have all been arrested. And if you've done that, Craig, I'm certain you get lifed off in this country. Did they? Oh, did they, Lisa? So the government didn't even know they were coming. I think the biggest mistake was when we took in all the Pakistanis from when that madman and mean whatever he's booted them out of that country and all their businesses because he see what they were doing, taking over everything. I know the country hit the had an economic crisis, but we should never have taken them in. But that's where we're all weak. We used to be taken these proper women and children only. Men stay. Women and children have got to be behind the lines. Yeah, he was very wise, Craig, and God bless him. May he rest in eternal peace. But we need a lot more than a bow and arrow. Yeah, Colin, he's been demonetized, mate. He goes anywhere in the world, mate, and they stop him. I mean, it happens on a regular for a lot of people. I'm sure it happened to me if I could afford to go abroad. You know what I mean? But certain people it happens to a few times, and they go and move abroad, and it's just a big scam. And when you go on your manor and you ask questions about certain people, from real faces, right? You get like 3 or 4 geezers at the same time from different directions all say the same thing. You've got to believe what they're saying. And they're the ones that ain't been pinched, right? They're not the ones that give it all this, you know what I mean? Because they're the stupid ones that always get caught. Like proper men that done proper things. I know they did. I know they did. I've been Ireland. I've got a great love for Ireland. Got a great love for the Republic, and I know why, because I'm half Irish, and that's when I found out my ancestry. I was so pleased and relieved to find something there, and so I can go on the damn grandparents, and I found out a lot of things that actually we suffered at the hands of the Brits quite harshly in the day. And yeah, I remember the days. I remember working with the Irish. They used to make me laugh. They could graft, and they did graft, and they were good pay. Got paid well, but by God, they would graft. I saw Irishmen turn out to work in a suit, work all day digging holes and all that in the day, right? And then go on the lash, and then still be back the next morning. You know what I mean? They have to be sleeping outside the job or on the job. But yeah, that's why I was. That's why I think I got my building skills from. To be totally honest, from as the Irish. And when I was at college with Haringey, it was 2 black guys, 1 Englishman, me. I was fortunate to get that. 2 Irish boys, and 1 Scottish geezer. And I'm not being funny. There was 1 Irish lad that come over from the Republic, and in their school, he was above everyone else. So I think the teachers wanted to move him a couple of years ahead because his work was so everything. You know what I mean? He was doing privates on day 1 of our apprenticeships. We were getting tools, and he was pricing up jobs. But yeah, I do credit Ireland with help build this country, of course, because my forefathers were part of that mob. You know what I mean? And I'm proud of them. And nothing's going to change. Speaking to my other half earlier, something I want to do on my bucket list, and I want to go back. And I want to go back. I've got my grandparents' maiden names, and my grandma's maiden name and my grandfather's name, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to investigate properly. Yeah, they do, Colin, don't they? It's amazing, mate. I tell you, I went into a boozer years ago, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and I went in to have a quick pint. That's before I stopped drinking, and I mean, I've been sober, let's see, 18 years, 10 months tomorrow. But I went in to have a pint, and our landlord said, "You want some food, Lee?" "Oh, food?" He said, "It's St. Patrick's Day. You got to have a dinner." Well, all right, then I'll have one. Oh God, they fed me up when I was there for about a week. I was ill, but those guys were coming back and going to work, coming back, going to work. But yeah, they can play hard, but it's in their blood. Yeah, it's quite sad to see what's going on in the Republic, but um, you're seeing a lot more of them uniting with us now, and they've got good reason not to be united with us if anyone has, right? I mean, they even take the pickle out of the Scottish for all their sectarianism because they say they're just plastic. They don't even know what it's all about. You know what I mean? They just, singing them songs and that. They got no, it's got no substance with them. But the the Irish, I love them dearly. I've seen some terrible things happening over there. But that's the joys of being part of an EU. They got sold out. They got sold out by the very people they thought was a liberation army. Eh? I mean, their ancestors would be turning in their graves. I mean, they've totally betrayed them. They sold out for money. Jerry Adams, just check him out. He's sold out for the money. Yeah, the plastics. Yeah, I mean, as I said, there was one genuine Irishman there. The other one was we called him Plastic Paddy. That was his name, Plastic Paddy, because he went to school with me, but he went down the Irish route. And you're thinking, but then I look back, and I was more of a ragam. I didn't know my pedigree, and maybe I would have been a little bit more stauncher. Maybe I would not have done things that I did if I'd have known, because I was batting for the wrong team. But I think I feel as well, Lisa. Uh, I feel that I may have a lot of family in America as well because on their ancestry, it's quite amazing, guys. If any of you think you're a bit of a mystery, go in and out, and you find you really are. I had a lot of like third and fourth cousins contacting me that were from the Irish side, that were in the States and Canada and places like that. So I was a bit taken aback by it, but I really, really, I'm totally intrigued by that. And I don't drink, but I told him, he said, go to Ireland, I'm going to order a Guinness and she's going to have to drink it and tell me all about it because it's a must, isn't it? And that's another thing I watched on a box set for a bit of escapism. All watch that Guinness thing on Netflix. I know Netflix are a bit of a wokey little thingy, but that Guinness, that's quite entertaining actually. I've done that in one sitting last night at 2 a.m. I went to bed. I got married in the States as well, and I do love the USA. I've got a right big soft spot for them. I really have. Been a few times. Okay, I got married there, and actually, I love America. I really do love America. And when they won, that's why I got their flag up there, wherever it is. And when I was there, I got treated the total respect, loving by Black Americans, by every American that I come across, you know what I mean? And they're having their problems, but they've got a decent man that's a bit strong and staunch, and they've got people that are willing to carry out his orders and they're getting things done. At times. See, that's disgusting, Mose. You know that English Rose. That is disgusting. The IRA times, I'm never support IRA. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. No, no, no. But that's my own opinion because I think they're cowards, right? Or were cowards. But I mean, for that to be happening, it's at times like this you wish they were about still and could do the skullduggery that they did on the invaders, and maybe the government would go, "Whoa, we better not do this." You know, I'm playing a bit like that, to be honest. and they can send me to wherever. I don't care. My thoughts are my thoughts. Yeah, yeah, Craig. They're all wrong uns. And if you noticed as well, this is another stat to look up, guys, right? It's like every time, and I mean, I mean, I don't want unaliving off anyone, to be honest, especially children and women. But see these dinghies and they play, oh, there's been 2 fatalities in the channel or 3 fatalities. Do your research and you'll find that 99.9% of them are women and children. How's that? How's that? This is what you're importing. And if you go over to Syria and Iraq into those camps where people are, and it's just women and children because their men have all come here, okay, see what they've done to them. It's disgraceful. Uh, Craig, I've got some content to make your toes curl. I've done videos I can't even put out because I might be arrested for doing it. I've got Yusuf up here denying the grape scandal, right? And he's accusing white men of doing it. White, white, white. That's just the way it goes on, but it's allowed. But any other politician, Farage, he mentions about deporting these wrong ones, and he's called what? And we're going to listen to that. No, no, no. That was just a declaration of their intent, and that is to replace us. We mean nothing. And then the national health. I don't know but there's a lot of things going on X about them now, encouraging cousin marriage. Well, I thought that was illegal in this country and frowned upon. You know what I mean? Ain't anyone got any skewer? They're eating our pets. I'm eating swans. They're nicking carps and eating them. Come on. I mean, but it's all right for them. And they're burning their rubbish on the streets. We got told not to litter and put it in the bin. But these guys don't play by them rules. No, English way. I bet he wasn't. I bet he was moved to accommodation next to a school playground now in this government. It's disgusting. But as I say, guys, I must say thank you to everyone that's in the room. Where have we been going? Oh, nearly an hour and a half, guys. Jesus Christ. You think I'd had thousands. But to be honest, sometimes small is better. That's what I say the other. No joke. Sorry, not too blue. But please all subscribe, as I say, all share, and all get onto X as well and DM me your numbers if you can. All right, and I can put you in a WhatsApp group. Okay, and the Sharon and everyone's in there. And you know what I mean? We can speak more freely. And then I'm looking at other platforms that ain't compromised and might start up on them, one of them, and then we can get a little bit more private because we are being monitored, we're being watched, and I'm getting a bit peed off with idiots keep jumping in. On X it ain't too what mine because I get paid for their interactions, so I argue with them back and forth for 10 minutes and then I report them. But that's what you've got to do. Just report on them, and all keep your wits and just keep flying your flags and be proud of be proud of this country. Don't be ashamed. And do not cower. And anyone got any problems, let the community know. And as I say, if anyone does need to bug out, just head to the borders and contact us. We'll start a refugee camp here. Yeah, there should be, Colin. There should be, and it's actually quite criminal why it isn't. But it's because, as it says I'm not lying. I'm a seeker of truth and justice, and I want the truth and I want justice, right? And the truth is out there, and you speak the truth in this country, you're persecuted, you're vilified. Just look at Tommy. You know what I mean? Mentioning his name is going to oppress it even more. But I was mentioning Tommy the musical. Because I'm a big fan of the Who. You know what I mean? That's what we've all got to do. We've got to make our ancestors proud, and that's what we've all got to do. We've all got to step up, guys. I'm not inciting anything because I have to say all this, and I will say it because I don't want to incite anything. But it's not going to happen the way it's going. It really ain't going to happen the way it's going. And you just look at history and how things have had to be sorted when the police, people, the real population get really peed off and get under threat. Are we going to be like that, or are we going to be like that? You know what I mean? So that's the way it's going to go. But as I said, I've been on for about an hour and a half, guys. You think I'd be getting paid for this? I don't get paid, Jack. But please, all stay safe. And it's been lovely speaking to each and every one of you. Can't thank you enough. Craig, please be putting me any more of these music channels. I've been watching some brilliant parody ones, by the way, Craig. Great. But anyone's with any problems, you know that. Just hit us up, DM us and that. And thank you all for subscribing, dropping in. And if anyone bought us a coffee, I will reply to you in person. And if anyone can, try to get on X and DM me, and then I'll get your number, put you in that group, and then it would be deleted, of course, and from the clouds. Okay, and you'll be protected with that. And I promise that. I promise that on my life. I really mean that. But I'm just thinking of plan A and B's and C's. You've got to be like that, because they're going to start. YouTube's going to be finished before long, the way they're going. And then X will be finished. That's already being censored, right? And we need somewhere else where we can rally and sort things out. No problem, Colin. Thanks for tuning in, mate. And yeah, take care all. And I love you all. God bless you all. And as I always say, be ready for anything. Keep switched on, right? And always look that extra 10 yards ahead, right? Because it does help sometimes. See you later. Bye-bye. God bless. Thank you all. Totally. I can't put that. Exactly, Rose. And you went there just not long after surgery against doctor's orders. I mean, you've got more courage than the majority of the men in this country. You know what I mean? Hence why you should do a YouTube channel and get it going. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. Love you all. Bye. God bless. Oh, we're finishing now. Oh, here we go.